I became curious about the lifespans of the previous Dalai Lamas when I was thinking about the present Dalai Lama, who I think is this year about 76 years old. So I took a look in some books, and it's quite interesting how long the previous ones have lived. The first Dalai Lama was born in 1391, and he lived to the age of 84. So he is the longest living Dalai Lama so far in history, and we're hoping that His Holiness will keep his promise and live for a very, very long time. So back to the first Dalai Lama. At age 5, he was discovered carving prayers and mantras into rocks. And when questioned about this, he apparently said that he was inscribing these prayers in the hope of benefiting all sentient beings, each of whom has been a parent to me in some past life. At age 25, he became, does anyone know whose disciple he became? Lama Tsongkhapa's disciple at age 25. So he was a person of immense scholarship in his lifetime. The next Dalai Lamas have much shorter lifespans. This is quite interesting. The second Dalai Lama lived to be 67. The third Dalai Lama lived to be 46. The fourth Dalai Lama was the only Dalai Lama to be born outside of Tibet, and he was born in Mongolia. And he lived to be only 28 years old, and the theory is that he was teaching his disciples impermanence. That would do it. The fifth Dalai Lama, as we know, is referred to as the Great Fifth. He was a great scholar. He was well versed in Sanskrit. He wrote many books, and he even wrote a book on poetry. And he died at the age of 65 before completing the Potala Palace. The sixth Dalai Lama is very interesting. He was Asia's most famous playboy. He was the only Dalai Lama to disrobe. And he actually had a very short life. He died at age 23, and apparently his death is shrouded in mystery. It was a violent death, and no one really seems to know what happened. The seventh Dalai Lama lived to be only 49. And then after his death, the lineage of the Dalai Lamas didn't play a significant role. The 5 incarnations came and went between the years of 1758 to 1875, and that's 117 years of the world not really having, or at least Tibet, not having contact with the Dalai Lama. Most of them died young, and they were not around long enough to manifest very many visible accomplishments. So that was quite a dark period, I think, on the planet. The 8th Dalai Lama lived to be only 47, and then the 9th Dalai Lamas through the 12th, again, they refer to this as the quiet years. The 9th was born in 1806, and the 12th Dalai Lama died in 1875, which means that those 4 incarnations, their total lifespans came to only 70 years. So they all died young, with the exception of one of them that made it into adulthood, and he was only in his 20s, I think. Then we have the great 13th. But he too only lived to be 57, but we also know of his great accomplishments. And now we have His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So in looking at these quite short lives that the previous ones had, and the periods of time where they weren't able to accomplish very much, and the fact that they were all in Tibet, with the exception of one, we have this extraordinary opportunity in this lifetime. So not only do we have a precious human rebirth, we have a precious human rebirth where we have access to a Dalai Lama. And we have access to him now through books and DVDs and CDs and translators. And this is really extraordinary. And I think we have to really include this in our prayers, that we continue to be born and meet him or her in future lifetimes. And that this lifetime that we're in, we should really take advantage of it, because we've got him now and he's still teaching. And I think we can all go a long way with his guidance. So let's make prayers that we continue to practice, and make prayers for his long life.